Hello everyone, my name is Nitya Rambhadran and I welcome you all to my channel Revamp Mind. Few days back when I was just sitting chilling at home or just rewinding my life, I remembered a lot of mistakes that I did, especially in my career. So I thought, why not make a video out of it? So I can share that with you guys as well, and you can learn from my mistake. You can learn from the mistakes that I did and you won't repeat them. Everyone makes mistakes and it is not a big crime if you have done mistakes. It's okay if you learn from them. And I can proudly say that whatever I am today is mainly because of the mistakes I did, because I learned so much from them. So they have shaped my life immensely and I am very proud of my life. And before I forget, please click on the like button and please do not forget to press the subscribe button as well and press the bell icon as well. So whenever I upload a video, you would get notified about it. From this month, I am trying to upload at least one video a week. I intend to do that continuously. So without wasting much time, let's tune in right away. So the first one is sharing my personal life or being an open book. I have shared this before in my videos as well, that I used to be an open book. I used to tell people what is happening in my life, and that has backfired so many times. So in the professional world also, whenever I used to go to office, many times I would just during the conversation or the break, I would share my personal life with others, especially if someone came and they were very friendly, we became friends, we were hanging out more. I would just open up about my life. I would tell about my life to others. I'm not saying it is wrong, but somewhere you need to build that gap or bridge that gap between professional and personal life. This is the biggest lesson that I learned, that keep professionalism and personal life completely aside and do not share your personal things with others. You can talk to those people whom you trust a lot, but not to everyone, because that would just backfire. The second thing I can remember is being calm. So this happened. I won't name the company because I don't want to defame anyone. But this happened with me that in a company where I was working, there was a person who was like a hyper stressed out. So whenever any work would come, from the client, that person would just sit on others head, like do this, do this, do this, do this, do this by 7:30, do this by 8:30, I just have 10 minutes, you have to finish this. And that used to create a lot of mental pressure, because if someone is sitting on your head constantly, that just builds up the mental pressure and you end up doing more mistakes. So that's what used to happen with me. That person used to create so much of pressure and I used to lose my calm, and I used to feel stressed, get stressed out, and I would end up doing mistakes. I tried speaking to my manager about this, but that person was at the position of team leader and it did not do any good. Ulta, it just backfired, and eventually they asked me to leave. So what I learned from this is that one thing, if a person is sitting on your head continuously and they are stressed out or they are just shouting at you, you do not need to lose your calm, because if you lose your calm, you would be at a loss, because you might lose your job or you might end up making the mistakes, and no one will consider this, that that person was adding stress or that person was pressurizing. Everything would come on you. So understand this. Tell that person calmly, you would do that. If that person is not listening, just walk out for 2 minutes. Just take some air and come back. And if it is not helping, probably you can speak to the management or the HR for a team change or something like that. The third thing I did is, and this happened recently, I mean few months back, this happened, that I got a job offer from a US based company for a content writer position. And that person, I did not have an email or a telephone number. That person just spoke to me on Skype, so I had the Skype details, and that person told me all the information, that this is the content you will have to write, the way, and all the terms and conditions, blah blah blah. what I needed was that time I did not speak to that person, but I needed a communication on email because verbal things, they may go haywire. So it's always better to have the things documented. And I needed a email from that person, and I thought that US में अभी रात होती है, so I may be able to speak to that person, and I just messaged him on Skype. So what I did basically was I thought that it would be night in the US and I'll be able to get some reply from that person. So I Skyped that person back in the morning. Here in India it's morning, in US it was night. So I just messaged that person on Skype saying that whatever conversation we had yesterday, I would need that on a email, or I mentioned that I need minutes of meeting, and that backfired completely. The response that I got that from that person was completely uncalled for, and that person was like, you don't know professionalism, you don't understand things, do you even know what is minutes of meeting, blah blah blah. And I tried explaining to that person that I just feel that you should have everything documented so that both are on the same page. That person just refused and said that we don't want to hire you, and that was the end of topic, and that was the end of that opportunity for me as well. So I learned a very big lesson from this. One thing, that you have to think calmly. I cannot be very impulsive and impatient. The second thing is, most of us have this habit, okay, that we think that if we are using a high funda vocabulary, or if we are using nice English, big words, the other person would be impressed by us, and that person would think that we are so intelligent and all that. But many times it happens that the other person might consider you as a show off. So especially when you are having a written or a verbal communication, I'm not talking about the blogs and all, but try to refrain from using a high vocabulary. Try to use a simpler language. In this case, my intent was not wrong, but probably the way I put the thing, like I asked for minutes of meeting, that offended that person. But this was a lesson I learned, so I would not repeat this again in my life. The fourth thing I remember is checking about the company's credibility. This has happened to me many times. Not many times, I would say 2-3 times this has happened to me. Where I joined a company, I did not check their credibility, or I did not check the background. It was a fairly new company. I joined them, and then I understood that that was a mistake. So it happened especially when I was in the BPO industry. I joined a company, and they told me about the salary and all that. That company, I think, had just started 3-4 months back and had a lot of employees, because it was a BPO, so they had a lot of employees, but their process was not in place. So every day whenever we used to go to the office, they would just give us a piece of paper with the script written on it, and they would say that just read this to the customers. It was a sales process. So that is how the things were working. Their salary cycle was the 5th of each month, 5th to the 4th. So on the 24th or 25th of the previous month, I get a call from my friend saying that they have removed 50 people from the organization, and I was one of them. So naturally we all went in the office next day. We tried to fight them. We were sitting in the office from morning to evening, try to ask them why and how did they just remove us without any notice, or putting us on a PIP, performance improvement plan, or anything, but that did not work. Eventually all the 50 people, they did not get their salary, and the company ate all the money. That was a complete 1 month salary that they just ate. The second incident I remember is, it was previous to this incident, that I had joined a company where again the process was not in place at all. We would just go to the office. We would sit in the office for probably a whole day. We were sitting like that for almost a month. And later on one day, they say that the company is closed. And after a few days, they called us that you can collect your salary. So everyone got the check. The checks bounced. So we had to run behind the company for our money. And after a long time, probably after 20-25 days, They called us and they gave us a demand draft. So after that, I decided that it's very, very important to understand the credibility of a company. Um, Before joining a startup, I'm not saying startup is wrong. Startup is a very good thing, but understand how the company is, understand its background, see whether they would be able to pay you, how much, whether they would be able to pay you on time, what is the process. Try to get all the information about the product and everything. Get the complete information. The fifth point that I would like to say is the fear of losing job that I had. I had mentioned this before, and again I would not name the person, but in my family, like, losing job is considered a very bad thing. It is, people look at you like you have a very, very casual behavior, because of which you have lost the job, which is not always true. There can be n number of reasons. So this happened with me, that I lost my job due to some health reasons, and one of my family members, they stopped talking to me completely. I was very close to that person. I was living in the house, and that person stopped talking to me for almost a week. And after a week, that person just saw me and threw the towel on the ground and said, "Check." And I could not take it. I think that just hit me on my heart very, very badly. I started crying, and because I felt like you just throw something at the dog and just say, "Get out from here," or you just push someone away. I just felt very insulted. So I could not take that. So it started affecting my job, because whenever I used to get a job or I used to start working, this thing the thought process just would keep on coming in my mind, that you might lose the job, or they might ask you to leave and all that. And as we already know, that many times when we think that this is going to happen, most of the time that thing happens, that thing comes true. So it was happening with me many times. And till the time, the biggest learning I had from this is, and this changed when I started going to a therapist, because then I realized that I have a fear of losing job, and I need to work on it. I need to work on my thinking. So I would just like to tell you that, understand one thing: no person, I repeat, no person in the world has a right to demean you down, or to put you down, or to tell you that you are useless and you cannot do anything. And if they are saying that's their opinion, that's their thinking, it should not affect you. So it's very important to make yourself so strong mentally that these things do not affect you. The last and the sixth point is expecting help from everyone. So I worked in a BPO industry for a very long time, and usually in the BPO industry you have teams, and you have training. You go through a proper training, and after that you are given 1 month or 1.5, 2 months to understand the process, to learn the work and to do it. But in many other places or the processes, it does not happen. Like if you talk about bank or digital marketing, where I am, you may not get that chance, because the companies do not have so much of time and resource to just invest on your learning. As you start working, as you're working, you get to learn more and more things. And digital marketing is more about experimentation. You have to do a lot of your research, and you have to understand things. You have to grow that way. But this was a mistake I was doing many times, that I would ask other people for help. Like for an example, if I'm trying to make a PowerPoint presentation and I don't know how to do it, so instead of searching on YouTube on how I can make a PowerPoint presentation, I would ask my colleague that, "Please tell me now how to make this PowerPoint presentation." So I was depending on the other person a lot, instead of depending on myself and learning the things myself. I mean, if I have researched, I have checked everything, and then I have not found a solution, and then you're asking the other person, that's a completely different thing. But just depending on the other person and without even checking things is wrong. So these were the 6 things or 6 career mistakes that I did in my life. We all do mistakes, so please do not hold yourself accountable for that a lot, or please do not stay in that guilt for a very, very long time, or do not allow that mistake to affect you for the rest of your life. Just understand what you can learn from that, how you can grow in life. Okay, and if you have liked the video, please click on the like button, please click on the subscribe button as well. As I said, do not forget to press the bell icon, and till next week, stay healthy, stay happy. Bye bye.